these per Q&A, but like it's really hard to watch it because everything that looks bad or like I'm like, oh my god, I immediately need to get vocal lessons, we need to be singing on tune, we need to get braces. I just like it's really hard. Like I know this sounds so stupid, but like in person it's like there's a filter in life where, you know, I see Tegan and I'm like, oh, that's great, this is awesome, and then you see yourself up there and you're just like, no wonder people who are real actors in real life they always just have problems and drive their car drunk and, you know, and deal with it. Like, you know, no wonder they're so bonkers. It's just like, it's so hard.
So good looking? I don't understand. Tie it all together. And what does that have to do with graphic novel?
Because it's just so hard to always look at yourself. There's no graphic novel about that. Anyways, no, I was gonna say that we're not reading a lot because we're working on a record, and then that ties in because I was gonna say I'm not sure we should work on a new record because maybe I should take some time off to get braces and learn how to sing. That's what I was gonna say. Which there's so many people frowning, and I can't live because you hate us. But
here to hate us. Stop. That's two.
Okay, that's it. That's zero, and no more. But you know, graphic novels in Essex County, I do like to read. I didn't stop learning. I mean, I could still read. And my suggestion to you, if you like Essex County, is a wonderful book. I don't know if you know this book, Epileptic. I just had a seizure. Epileptic is what it's called. And I don't know why my arm is so outstretched either. It's just, we've been off for a year.
Sarah's
like,
going to post a blog about what books she thinks you should read. Next question. Thank you very much. David B. Let's take right there. You're wearing a white T-shirt and then it looks like a black vest or something. Yeah.
I was wondering what your thoughts on the commercialization of the music industry are.
That's so interesting because he brought a PowerPoint presentation. Oh my god, I'm so relieved you asked because I've been thinking about it a lot last year. It's all we think about actually and all we talk about, so I'll try not to talk too much about it. But I think that, honestly, I'll be completely frank with you. I mean, Sarah and I, we want to write pop songs. Like, that's what I write, that's what I listen to. And if I play acoustic guitar, if I write, or if I play keyboard, or if I stand or I sit, I don't know that that's really relevant. The whole point is just to write a great song. And so I think my issue with music sometimes is just that it feels like there's a lot of really bad music. But then when I start thinking about it, I'm like, well, that's really rude to talk about because like millions of people are buying that bad music. So it's basically like if I say publicly that I think something's bad, I'm basically saying to all those people, you're sucky and you have no taste. And the more that I work on my songwriting and the older I get and the more that the more songs I write, like I've written like 25 songs in the last year, the more I realize that, you know, it takes a lot to write a song, period, and to finish and complete a song. And I think I should just worry about that and not worry too much about what everybody else is doing. And hopefully, and this is Sarah and I's big dream, is that, you know, we give the right people the record and the right people buy that record and then they all buy tickets and they come and see us play and then maybe they see a movie or whatever and not worry beyond that too much. So, but I do worry about the commercialization of our world and being over-marketed to, and I worry about all of our brains because we're on like our iPhone and our iPad and our computer and we're like Netflixing it all the time and we, like the #1 game is like blowing apart people and I just feel like we're going for like so I worry about a lot of that stuff, but I'm trying not to let that sneak into my music because I don't know that anyone really cares to hear me sing about that, but I think I answered your question, so let's just say thank you very much for your question. Sarah, you picked
right here in the front.
Oh, hey, what's up? First of all, I feel like I have to preface.
You'll go next.
Oh, sorry.
It's fine. I thought I was making eye contact, but it's also very dark up here, so
don't
eye contact.
I'm sorry.
You go first, and then you say.
Well, this ties in. I feel like I have to preface this question by saying that I hope that you take to all the people out there the fact that maybe not all Texans, not all of us are douchebags.
Why do you think we started in Austin?
We love it here.
But what do you guys think of Texas, and what do Canadians think of Rich Carey?
You guys are trying to get us to say inflammatory things we're not gonna. We did some media training recently, and now we have to say Sarah started a war. I don't know if you know this with somebody, and now we're not. No. Sarah, you answer.
We love Texas. We grew up actually in sort of what is loosely the Texas of Canada. We grew up in Alberta, which there's a lot of parallels between Texas and Alberta, and we had a wonderful childhood, and our mom's grad, obviously. She's great, and we were introduced to tons of amazing things, and I think we had a broad sort of cultural identity, and we and so when you get older and people start to say things, you know, I would go to Montreal or I would go to Vancouver and people would be like, Calgary, oh, cowboys and rednecks and all of these things, and it was, you know, it was so completely different than the experience that I had, and I'm sure Tegan had. And so, you know, you feel sort of defensive, but, you know, if you objectively look at a place based on, you know, politics or, you know, whatever, it can be easy to sort of write the entire population off. But we recognize, we've toured America a tremendous amount, and almost everywhere we go there is, thankfully, a fan base of Tegan and Sara fans who share a lot of the same views on things that we do. And I think Texas certainly is the same. You know, like there's a lot of wicked people, and a lot of them probably happen to be in Austin, so that's great. So yes, you know, we got your back. We got all the good people's back. Don't worry about it. What about Rick Perry? Oh, Rick Perry. Well, listen. I mean, imagine we're in media training. This is role play. Okay. Well, Rick Perry, I think that he's quickly, you know, showing himself to be sort of like, you know, the ding dong that he really truly is, probably, and I'm not too worried about it. Initially, when the presidential campaign started, I got really worried that Obama was really in trouble. But like, if y'all, that was for you, Texas. If y'all vote in one of these ding dongs, I mean, what the hell are you? I mean, there's like, at this point, I'm just like, well, if you vote someone like this in, we're probably not going to tour her that much, and we're just going to kind of go like, I mean, what happened? You know, this is up to you. You have the power. You have the power to not let this happen, and I'm hoping that Obama gets back in. So, yeah. That's you. Sorry about you.
Hi, I'm Tess.
Hi, Tess.
I was just wondering, I know you hear a lot of inspiring like stories from fans and stuff, and how does that affect you in your everyday life when people tell you that you like lifted them from the depths?
Hate it. Just kidding. Thank you for your question. If you want to sit down, you can. I don't know if you feel awkward or not. I feel awkward, so I'm like, oh my God, we were actually just talking about this over breakfast, about how many people come up to us and how funny they are, and how sometimes it's very awkward, but for the most part it's actually really fun to interact with strangers, especially when they walk up to you and they're like, Tegan! And you're like, hey! And then they're like, I love your music, and you're like, oh, we don't know each other. Okay, well, that's cool. And then, you know, you talk, and you know, anyway, it's always like 99% of the time really awesome. I love hearing people's stories. I mean, I still read all our fan mail, and I am definitely most of the time really open to having a conversation with people, as long as it's not dangerous. Like one time, someone stopped me in the middle of a street, and I was like, oh yeah, and I'm like edging like out of the crosswalk because I was like, the light's changing, but they were so excited. And at one point, I finally I was like pulling them along with me. I was like, we need to get out of the middle of the street. Yeah, I think we have just like the most lovely, entertaining fans. I love people come up, they're like, oh, Tegan, by the way, you should read this book. And I'm like, okay, thank you. You know? As long as they don't show up outside my house, I feel pretty okay about it. So, and I love to hear the stories. I mean, Sara and I are really inspired by your guys' experiences, because I feel like we're all around the same age and interests and whatever. So I'm siphoning your life energy from you when you're talking to me. Okay. I'm going to talk with the blue.
Is that me?
Yeah.
Okay.
That looks like blue to me. Is that blue?
Yeah, it's blue. I'm used to people talking about my mohawk.
Oh, I can't even see if you have hair. Is it hair? Yes, there's. You have a mohawk? Then I don't want to take a
My
question.
question's a little bit for your mother as well as you.
Okay, we'll answer on behalf of her.
I am young enough to remember being a strong-willed teenager, but old enough to be a few years away from having a strong-willed teenage girl.
Okay.
And I was wondering how she got through that, or how you experienced that. You're all still friends, and you're really uniquely you.
Oh, that's a really good question. Sarah, you want to? Mom, I just want to say that my mother turned to me during the movie and she said, your dad and I are so weird. I mean, it's no wonder you guys turned out like this. This is